Hi, my name's Professor Ricky Spencer from 1 Million Turtles and Western Sydney University. Come with us on a 10-minute journey to explore 40 years of Indian and Australian innovation to restore the natural values of the River Ganges or Ganga.
And I'm Dr. Jason Reynolds from the School of Science here at Western Sydney University. And this is our pitch.
So I want to tell you a fascinating story about environmental ingenuity. It's about an idea that was so brilliant it was tried 40 years ago, but it was also so ambitious it had to wait for technology to catch up. This is a story about a second chance, for a river and for a really revolutionary idea.
I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a comic book, right? An army of turtles deployed to save a river. But this was a real plan, a super bold attempt to solve a huge environmental problem with a totally unique biological solution.
Okay, so to really get what's happening now, we have to rewind the clock back to the 1990s. India was facing a massive crisis with one of its most sacred lifelines, the Ganges River. We're talking about a river that supports over 400 million people, but it was being choked by billions of liters of industrial waste and raw sewage every single day.
And the plan they came up with, honestly, it was an incredible piece of ecological thinking. The idea was to release thousands of meat-eating and omnivorous turtles to act as a natural cleanup crew. Their job? To help process the insane amounts of organic waste, including partially cremated human remains, that were polluting the river. This was a nature-based solution, long before that was even a buzzword.
So why turtles? What makes them the perfect candidates for a cleanup crew? Well, the science behind this is actually really compelling.
It all comes down to one key role they play in nature: scavenging. They are essentially nature's recyclers, specializing in eating decaying stuff that would otherwise just sit there and contaminate the whole ecosystem.
And this is where the science just backs it all up. Studies show turtles are absolutely vital scavengers. In experiments that simulated big fish kills, tanks that had turtles in them saw the water quality bounce back to normal way faster than the tanks without them. They just devour all that decaying material, stopping harmful stuff from being released. The main point is that original plan from the 90s was built on some really solid science.
But, and there's always a but, isn't there? Despite this fantastic premise, the project didn't work. It was an idea that was, well, maybe just a little too far ahead of its time. And the reasons it failed are complex, things that probably couldn't have been fully seen coming back then.
As the source material puts it, plain and simple, the innovative idea failed. So why? What went wrong? Well, the answer is a combination of massive environmental pressures that the turtles just couldn't handle on their own.
It really boiled down to a perfect storm of three huge problems. First, the pollution was just off the charts. Yeah, the turtles were there for the organic waste, but the river was also a toxic soup of industrial chemicals and heavy metals they couldn't do anything about. Second, there was nowhere for them to live. Development had wiped out the natural riverbanks they needed to sunbathe and, more importantly, to lay their eggs. And finally, poaching. Can you believe it? Instead of being protected, the turtles themselves were being hunted, which just crushed their numbers.
Okay, so let's flash forward 40 years to today. The problem's still there, but technology has finally caught up, giving this old idea a brand new lease on life. A new generation of tech might just make that original vision a reality.
So, the new game plan is this incredible 1-2 punch. On one hand, you've got advanced technology that literally cleans the water, and on the other, you've got these specially designed artificial habitats that give the turtles a real fighting chance. It's the ultimate fusion of engineering and biology.
First up, you have Atlan's floating wetlands. Think of them as these high-tech, man-made ecosystems.
Got that penny loafer squeak, cross linoleum, big flex, complex Napoleon.
They're basically floating platforms that hold native plants, and their roots just dangle deep down into the water. And the way they work is just genius. The best way to think of these huge root systems is like biological straws. They are constantly sucking in and absorbing the very pollutants that overwhelm the turtles in the first place, all those excess nutrients, heavy metals, and other contaminants.
So how do they pull this off? Well, they're basically mimicking nature, but on steroids. The giant surface area of all those roots creates a perfect home for good microbes, which form the sticky layer called a biofilm that breaks down pollutants. At the same time, the plants themselves are sucking up nutrients and heavy metals right into their own tissues, pulling them right out of the water.
But cleaning the water is only half the battle, right? You still have to solve that massive habitat problem. And that's where the second piece of the puzzle comes in: BioHaven islands. These are engineered floating islands designed specifically to be a safe haven for wildlife.
Simple and ready to go, our team can help you set up a BioHaven island. Our BioHavens and citizen science tools, like TurtleSat, can quantify your impact, which is key for the nature repair market. Through webcam footage, your community can get to know local wildlife. Turtles and waterbirds alike love the safety that the islands provide, making it a multi-species biohaven. By providing a safe nesting habitat for even just one turtle, we can save multiple generations into the future. So what are you waiting for? Visit us online to learn more about BioHaven Islands and start making a nature-positive impact today.
And what's so brilliant is that these islands directly fix the problems from the past. Because they float out in the middle of the river, they provide safe nesting sites away from predators and poachers on the shore. They're perfect for basking, which turtles absolutely need for their health. They basically create a stable, safe home in what's otherwise a really tough environment. So when you put these two technologies together, you don't just get two separate good ideas. You get a single, powerful system that gives that original turtle army a real, genuine second chance.
And this is where it all comes full circle. The floating wetlands clean the water, creating a much healthier environment. And nestled right alongside them, the BioHaven Islands provide the safe home the turtles need to thrive. And with all that in place, the turtles can finally get back to their real job: scavenging and keeping the whole ecosystem in balance.
So let's just break it down, then versus now. The old problem of extreme pollution, now it's tackled by the biological straws of the floating wetlands. The lack of habitat, solved by these purpose-built BioHaven islands. And the threat from poaching, it's hugely reduced by moving their homes safely away from the shore. Every single reason the original plan failed now has a modern, high-tech solution.
40 years. It's just incredible to think about. It took 4 decades of technological progress for us to finally be able to support this brilliant biological idea from the past.
And you know, this isn't just about some clever engineering. There's a real mission here. As Andy Hornbuckle, the CEO of Atlan, puts it, we believe clean waterways are a right, not a privilege. This is about restoring a fundamental right for both people and nature.
And that leaves you with a really powerful question. This project is so much more than a plan for one river. It's a potential blueprint for the future of ecological restoration. It proves that when we combine the genius of nature with our own innovation, we might just be able to heal some of the most damaged places on Earth. So the real question is, where do we go next?